I spoke with Dr. Sunil Dubey, an academic at the University of Sydney, where he teaches building economy and asset management. And also he is a global thought leader in innovation, workplace, and governance. He has worked globally with governments and educational institutions. And most recently, he just advised the municipal government of Guangzhou in urban innovation and international partnerships. I asked Dr. Dubey 3 key questions about commercial real estate in Australia. Its evolution and potential lessons for commercial real estate in China in improving economies, efficiencies, and environmental sustainability. What would be one key message you could provide to improve the economies and efficiency of Chinese commercial real estate? And why is this so important?
I think one important thing is research. I believe a good and strong research makes a lot of a difference for the investors, managers, operators, and public in general about commercial real estate. In Australia, we have a very strong basis and very detailed and comprehensive research frameworks, which provides a lot of confidence to the investors, managers, owners, operators, and professionals like architects to start looking at the future of the commercial real estate. With the evidence and the data available to the professionals and investors, it creates a synergy to uplift the game of commercial real estate in Australia. So one key message I can give it to you is to boost your research. Put a lot of energy, resources in developing credible and robust research framework for commercial real estate in China. Once you have that, that will build up a lot of confidence, and there will be new ways of looking at efficiencies in the commercial real estate, particularly in the workplace real estate, which I believe is not very strong in the Chinese commercial real estate at this point of time. So we are very happy that you have developed some comprehensive level of understanding about research, Yujia, and hopefully you'll use that Australian expertise and experience to uplift the research in Chinese commercial real estate.
You have worked, practiced, and taught commercial real estate in Australia and internationally. You have seen the vast change in workplace design over the years. What is your observation about Chinese workplace design? What can be done to improve the workplace planning and design in Chinese markets?
Workplace planning and design has come a long way. I think in the last 2 decades, we have seen some substantial changes in the way workplace planning and design has evolved. In Australia and generally in the Western world, we have seen how the traditional offices has changed and how open plan offices, activity-based working environment and agile working environments are making a lot of difference, not only just in the commercial or the workplace real estate, but also to maximize the efficiencies from the workplace design. We are also coming to a point where we have reached the optimum level of providing workplace real estate for particular business or organization's needs. So one key message I believe which the workplace planning and design can focus in China is to look at the learning from all over the world and maximize this for the enormous commercial and workplace real estate you have in China. I think China can actually demonstrate what I call a leapfrog strategy, where you can look at the part of innovation, for example, the use of sensors in utilizing for proper planning of the workplaces. Looking at it where you really have to provide the key real estate to maximize the business operation and workplace efficiencies. Then integrate the design as a part of the planning, not as an add-on. Generally, I find in China and majority of the developing world or in Asia, that we follow the design and planning as a separate silos. I think there's a time when we have to integrate planning and design as a one part in workplace, and instead of focusing on planning and design, we focus more on workplace strategies and providing flexible design solutions which can cater not only today's need but also the future needs. Because the workplaces are changing so fast and so drastically that if we put some static design solutions in the workplace, they are not going to be sufficient in coming years. So I would say in China you have a huge advantage from learning from the mistakes in workplace design and planning and utilizing all those learning to maximize the real estate and workplace strategies to cater for the future needs. And I believe it's one place where we really need this to happen is China.
For last decades or so, you have actively worked with local governments around the world in areas of urban innovation, smart cities, and urban reforms. Could you share some of your thoughts about the role of governments in reforming the commercial real estate as industry? And why is this important for Chinese commercial real estate market?
The role of governments, particularly the role of local and regional governments, is very critical in corporate or commercial real estate. Historically, we see that most of our planning is based on taking people from their home to work, and the workplace or the workplace real estate then produces some business infrastructure to produce the business goods and services, and our entire planning system revolves around it. I think it's a time for change because we have seen a huge technological advancements, innovations coming. In my research in the last 10 years working with local governments all around the world, what we observed that unless we change some basic but very important principles of urban policies, I think we are going to not achieve some of our sustainability targets. What I mean by sustainability target is this. In urban policies, we now have to focus on bringing work to people's close proximity where they live. They could be innovative solutions, including the advanced technologies where people can perform large amount of their business work from their home or within a close proximity of where they live. So our hypothesis is unless we bring urban planning in line with bringing home to work principles, we are not going to achieve some very strong results in changing the notion of workplace real estate and economics. In doing this, a lot of local governments around the world have really pushed the boundaries and now bringing urban policies and major reforms where people are only allowed to go and work in offices not more than 3 to 4 days. Now, even if we look at it, saving 1 day of travel for over 50% of the workforce, let's assume it's in the government sector only, this contributes to enormous amount of saving of transport money, saving of infrastructure monies, but most importantly, a great deal of environmental savings we are demonstrating by cutting huge carbon emissions. This is what we mean by working with corporate real estate and urban policies together, and then lobbying the local governments and the regional governments to promote the ideas of changing urban policies to bring work closer to your home or else within your home. By doing this, we are going to challenge the sitting and the historical or traditional notions of urban planning, but the results with the aid of technology and innovation is going to be far better for the world. And if one place where it is really important to do that is China. If these experiments, if I may call them, are successful, I think the world opens up a new area of opportunities to reduce the carbon emission and environmental sustainability. China has a leading role, and I think this role and this responsibility can only be done when the governments and the corporate or the commercial real estate market work together in reforming the urban policies around the workplace practices, workplace planning, design and development.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts and ideas with me, Dr. Dubey. Your thoughts are aspirational but very valuable for improving the quality and sustainability of commercial real estate in China. 谢谢。